For decades, the US dollar has reigned supreme in global finance. It's the currency used for most international trade and financial transactions. Countries hold it in their reserves. But this dominance is being challenged. De-dollarization is the shift away from the US dollar. It's when countries reduce their reliance on the dollar for trade, investments, and reserves. Think of it as countries diversifying their currency portfolios. They are looking for alternatives to the greenback. This trend is driven by a multitude of factors. Some countries are unhappy with US foreign policy, others are seeking financial independence, and some are hedging against economic uncertainty. The rise of alternative currencies and payment systems is further fueling this shift. The world is witnessing a slow but steady move towards a new global financial order, one where the dollar is no longer the undisputed king. The de-dollarization movement is gaining momentum, with countries around the world participating. 11 nations from the Commonwealth of Independent States, or CIS, are at the forefront of this shift. These include Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Ukraine. These countries are motivated by a complex interplay of political, economic, and strategic factors. Politically, many are seeking to distance themselves from US foreign policy and promote a multipolar world order. The dominance of the dollar gives the US significant leverage in international affairs. Reducing dependence on the dollar is seen as a way to challenge this dominance. Economically, countries are concerned about the impact of US sanctions and the volatility of the dollar. They aim to protect their economies from potential shocks by diversifying their reserves and using alternative currencies for trade. Strategically, de-dollarization is a way to reduce vulnerability to US pressure. By reducing reliance on the dollar, these countries hope to gain greater autonomy and flexibility in their foreign policy decisions. The transition away from the dollar is a gradual and multifaceted process. It involves a series of coordinated steps to recalibrate financial systems. Countries are forging bilateral agreements to use their own currencies for trade. For example, Russia and China are increasingly using the ruble and yuan for transactions. Central banks are also diversifying their foreign exchange reserves. They are reducing their holdings of US Treasury bonds and increasing their reserves of gold, euros, and other currencies. This reduces their exposure to fluctuations in the dollar and supports the value of alternative currencies. Additionally, countries are promoting the use of local currencies in their domestic economies. They are encouraging businesses to invoice in local currencies and are developing local financial instruments to reduce reliance on dollar-denominated debt. The rise of digital currencies and blockchain technology is also playing a role. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, and other digital payment systems offer potential alternatives to the traditional dollar-based financial system. The decline of the dollar's dominance has significant implications for the United States. As the global reserve currency, the dollar grants the U.S. unique privileges. It allows the U.S. to borrow money at lower interest rates and finance its large trade deficits. De-dollarization could lead to higher interest rates for U.S. borrowers, making it more expensive for the government and businesses to raise capital. This could slow down economic growth and potentially lead to inflation. Furthermore, a weaker dollar reduces the effectiveness of U.S. sanctions. Sanctions rely on the ability to cut off access to the dollar-based financial system. As more countries move away from the dollar, the impact of these sanctions diminishes. The U.S. also benefits from the global demand for the dollar, which keeps its value high. A decline in demand could lead to a depreciation of the dollar, making imports more expensive and potentially fueling inflation. The million-dollar question is whether there will be a single successor to the US dollar. Most experts believe that the future will be multipolar. Instead of one dominant currency, we are likely to see a basket of currencies playing a significant role in international finance. The euro, yuan, yen, and even digital currencies like Bitcoin are all potential contenders. However, none of these currencies currently possess all the characteristics needed to replace the dollar fully. The transition to a new global financial order is likely to be gradual and complex. The dollar will probably continue to play a significant role for the foreseeable future, but its dominance is waning. The rise of de-dollarization marks a turning point in global finance, with far-reaching implications for the global economy and the balance of power.